So today we're going to dive into a really fascinating concept, a new kind of digital currency called KAELUM, and it's powered entirely by AI. The whole idea here is to completely rethink how we pay for things, moving away from these systems that just take a cut and toward one that actually creates value for everyone involved. But how does that even work? Could it really change our everyday transactions? Let's get into it.
Okay, so first things first, we have to understand the problem KAELUM is trying to fix. And it's a big one. The argument is that our payment systems today are just broken. They're basically a hidden tax on every single thing you buy, making money for a bunch of middlemen while costing both you and the businesses you buy from.
I mean, seriously, think about it. You tap your card, you click Buy Now online, and boom, a chunk of your money never even makes it to the person you're buying from. It gets eaten up by this crazy web of processing fees, interchange costs, and all these other charges. For businesses, it's death by 1,000 cuts. And what do we, the customers, get out of this deal? Pretty much nothing. It's a one-way street where value is just constantly being sucked out of the transaction.
And we're not talking about small change here. Globally, this isn't $1 million or $1 billion problem. It's over $3.5 trillion lost to this payment friction every single year. That's a mind-boggling amount of money that just evaporates. It's not being reinvested. It's not going back into our pockets as savings. It's just gone.
You know, this isn't just some fringe complaint either. We're seeing the alarm bells being rung at the very highest levels of finance. The CEO of the European Payments Initiative, an organization backed by Europe's biggest banks, is on the record saying that building alternatives is now an urgent priority. When the establishment itself says the system is broken, you know a change is long overdue.
So, if the old way is busted, what's the fix? Well, this brings us to the core idea behind KAELUM. It's not about tweaking the old system. It's about creating a whole new category of money that's built from the ground up just for commerce. Let's dig into what that actually means.
Okay, so what in the world is an AI-powered commerce currency? The key thing to understand is that, unlike cryptocurrencies, its value has nothing to do with market hype or speculative trading. Instead, its value is tied directly to real-world economic activity. Now, people actually buying and selling stuff. And that right there is a huge difference, because the goal is stability and predictable growth, not wild price swings.
And this is where it gets really cool, because this model basically flips the whole idea of a loyalty program on its head. We've all been there, right? You collect points that expire before you can use them, or the reward is tiny. Well, this is the exact opposite. Your value actually grows over time. The rewards are meaningful, and get this, even the merchants earn something for being part of it, instead of just paying fees. The idea is to make everyone feel like they have a real stake in the system.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work? How does the money move around? Let's pull back the curtain and look at the nuts and bolts of what they call the intelligent transaction loop. So it all happens in this 5-step circle. It starts with you, the customer. You top up your wallet by buying KAELUM's token, which is called KLM, and you immediately get it at a discount of at least 6%. Then you spend those tokens at a business that's in the network. The AI engine then jumps in, processes the payment, and distributes rewards. And here's the really clever part. Only the business can turn those tokens back into regular money. This creates what's known as a closed loop, which keeps the value locked inside the ecosystem, letting it grow and compound with every transaction. And the brain behind this whole operation is the AI engine, which is called Kate. But it's not just one AI. It's actually a whole team of them working together. Powerful models from OpenAI, Claude, and Gemini. Having this multi-model approach lets it do all sorts of complex things, from managing the token's value and spotting fraud to giving merchants really useful insights about their business.
So why is this closed-loop design so important? Well, because you, the customer, can't just cash out your tokens. The currency is shielded from all that crazy crypto market speculation. Its value is based on real-world use, not hype. And this creates a self-reinforcing cycle. Every payment makes the whole network stronger, and at the same time, it guarantees you save real money on every single purchase.
Okay, so this is obviously a very different way of doing things. But how does it really stack up against the giants we use every day, like Stripe and PayPal? And what about the other new kids on the block, like crypto, or even the big banks' own payment initiatives?
Well, when you lay it all out like this, the comparison is pretty stark. You can see KAELUM ticking boxes that nobody else does, from the deep AI integration to those guaranteed rewards. But pay close attention to that value appreciation row. Where crypto is volatile and unpredictable, KAELUM's value is called deterministic, meaning its growth is directly linked to the actual economic activity happening in the network. That, plus the low regulatory burden and the fact that it's live now, really sets it apart.
And that low regulatory burden is a huge deal.
Here's why. Because customers can't convert the tokens back to cash themselves, the system actually qualifies for specific exemptions under existing e-money rules in the UK and Europe. This is a really clever structural advantage. It lets them operate with way less friction and complexity than their competitors, who are all stuck navigating some incredibly intense financial oversight.
So what's the big picture here? Where does this all go? If a model like this actually takes off, what's the long-term vision? Let's take a quick look at the ambition behind scaling an intelligent, closed-loop economy.
And the growth they're projecting is definitely ambitious. They're targeting £40 million in transaction volume in the first year alone, and then aiming to scale that all the way up to $750 million by the third year. So this clearly shows they're not thinking small. The goal isn't to be a niche product, it's to become a really significant player in digital payments.
And that leaves us with this final question. The whole promise here is to fundamentally flip the script on commerce, to go from a world where value is constantly being extracted from your transactions to one where every single payment you make actually helps build value for you and for the businesses you choose to support. It's a pretty compelling vision for what the future of our money could look like.